Songe mbele ambapo mwezi Februari mwaka 2019 kampuni za simu za Telkom na Airtel zilitangaza mkataba wa kuunganisha biashara zao katika sekta ya simu ya mkononi humu nchini. Utekelezaji wa mkataba huo utakapokamilika, kampuni hizo mbili zitavunjwa na kisha kubuni kampuni mpya itakayojulikana kama Telkom Airtel. Kwa hivi sasa, kamati ya bunge la Seneti kuhusu teknolojia ya mawasiliano ICT inakutana na wasimamizi wa kampuni hizo mbili kujadili mpango huo. Hebu tuwasikilize.
And the fact of the matter is, we do have a dominant player in this country. And I think it's also a subject of today's engagement. But I think we have said many times that the dominance of the number one player in this market is unique globally, especially when you talk about deregulated, liberalized markets. I've seen people contrast as to other markets, but if not, if you're talking about a monopoly market, which is government regulated, that's different. But amongst liberalized markets, it's unique to have a player who controls 90% of the entire sector's revenues. So we would like to tell you that we want to combine and immediately become number one. But we're not going to move from 10% to number one. We're realistic here. And we're dealing, I think, with people who want real. So even as a combined entity, we will only control, initially, 10% of the revenues in the entire sector. When it comes to profits, we have a number one player who controls more than 100% of the profits. So we start where we are today. And the mere effect of combining doesn't change that statistic. However, to Senator Abshiro's questions, obviously the joint venture, the new entity will now be working towards building and investing, as PD had said earlier, so that we can strengthen our number two position. So what we're trying to do is we shall be a stronger number two. Because really today, and I don't want to speak for Airtel, yes, they are number two, but what kind of a number two are they, right? So really that is what, just to that particular question. You asked what is part of this transaction and what is not, right? And clearly I said the mobile business, and I want to speak to that a little bit, is a major part of this transaction, as well as the enterprise business. And I think PD talked about the synergies between the fact that we have a very strong enterprise business, they have a much, much stronger mobile business. And therefore now they'll be part of the same entity. That allows the synergies to be better exploited. What's remaining in Telkom, the mobile financial service platform is not part of this transaction. So Airtel Money remains as part outside this transaction, as does the T-Cash platform, the real estate. And if I can just take this opportunity to answer your question, really, I think you're probably right. But we live in Kenya, where there are certain, what I personally, this is not Telkom, this is Mugo, refer to irrational emotional sensitivities when it comes to land and property and real estate. People strand cash, and I address Kenyans here, frankly speaking. It is not clever to strand cash in an illiquid asset and then you're actually cash poor. There are people who are dying, Mr. Chairman, in this country. Very rich in assets, but they have no cash. And they actually die because they can't even afford hospital bills. So that is the reason why we decided that the retention of real estate in the Telkom entity remaining is something that we wanted to put in so that we don't have to deal with those emotional sensitivities at the moment. But frankly speaking, Telkom will have to come up with a proper real estate strategy, as opposed to just keeping assets for the sake of keeping assets and then getting them, disposing of them in kind of a fire sale to support working capital. The intention is for Telkom Kenya, remaining behind, to actually develop a proper real estate strategy without the burden of a loss-making mobile business, because that hasn't been possible under this scenario. We will also be retaining certain GOK enterprise services, to which I cannot go into great detail here, Mr. Chairman. So that will be remaining behind. But more importantly is the fact that we want to build a new technology business. Digitization in this country is going to be huge and big in the next few years, both in government and outside government in the private sector. And we want Telkom to be a major player in the digitization of the Kenyan society. Data centers. Part of the developing a real estate strategy is to say one of the biggest ingredients of the proper data center strategy is real estate. So begin to apply our real estate towards certain businesses, technology businesses, that we have not had a chance to do in the past. And then we shall also continue to manage fiber. Both the fiber that will now be transferred to the joint venture that is today owned by Telkom, as well as the government-owned fiber, which is the National Optical Fiber Network. But I should also make it very clear, because there's been some confusion. The National Optical Fiber belongs to the government of Kenya and is not part of this transaction. And all we do today is we manage that fiber, and we shall continue to manage that fiber as Telkom Kenya remaining behind. So there's a substantial amount of business remaining behind as Telkom Kenya on which we can now build a new technology company. And that's the intention. Of course.
Naam, mtazamaji, ni taarifa inayofungamana na masuala ya biashara hapo, ambapo afisa mkuu mtendaji wa kampuni ya Telkom Mugo Kibati anazungumza mbele ya kamati ya Seneti kuhusu teknolojia, kuhusiana na swala nzima la iwapo wataweza kushikana na kuwa kwa pamoja kampuni ya Telkom na vile vile Airtel. Tusonge mbele.